Hello everyone. Today I'm going to show you how to do a chevron pattern, it has to be done in multiples of 28 plus 2 chain at the end for your turning chain, but I'll explain that to you along the way. So this is one cycle where you've got 2 peaks and you've got a valley in the middle there. So we go up to the peak, down to the valley, up to the peak, down to the end there. And what we're going to do is make a sample piece of 2 peaks, because I know you're all wondering how many chains. Now this makes approximately 16 centimetres. So if you were going to make, for ease of calculation, a blanket of 160 or 1.6 metres, which is a pretty big blanket, you would multiply 28 by 10 and add 2 for the turning chain. But I'm going to show you this, and then you've got to work it out yourself to work out how many chains you need to have to start with to make your blanket. It really depends on the size of the hook that you're using and the yarn. The yarn always gives you a recommended hook to use, and I'm going to use a 4 today with my beautiful Feels Like Butter yarn, which is my absolute favourite at the moment. I love it. It really does feel like butter. And you can use whatever you like. The only suggestion I have is if you are new at crocheting and you find your chains are a bit tight, I would go up 1 or 2 size hooks so the chains are nice and loose, because what happens if they're too tight, they pull the chevron around and you lose your shape. So I'm okay with using the same hook, but I've had a few years experience, so that's my suggestion. That's why it's a really good idea to make a sample piece to start with. Okay, so we start with the slip knot where we have the tail on the left and the running yarn on the right, and we do a little, what I call a letter C, and my little smiley face, so I know where the middle of the camera is. Little trick there. You pinch your running yarn and put it up through that loop, pull it, and you'll know if you've done it correctly because you will pull the running yarn and it will make the loop smaller. Very important to make sure that the running yarn is in control of the hoop, unless you're doing a magic circle, in which case it's a little bit different. But today we're not doing magic circle, we're doing 28 chains. So when you do a chain, your hook comes towards you and it goes under and the yarn comes over, which is why it's called yarn over. 1. Now you'll see, for the people that are new to crocheting, I like to hold my slip knot there so that it doesn't move around, and I use my hook for all the movement. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, everybody holds their hook differently. I like to hold mine more like a pencil. Some people like to hold it like a bike. But whichever way you do it, you must have your thumb on that flat part of your hook. So we're up to 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. So you can see it's just a sample to work out how big we're going to make our blanket. And then at the end of the 28, or the multiple of 28, you do 2 chain, which are our turning chains. So 1, 2, we're going to start in the 3rd chain with a double crochet, yarn over into the top of your chain, yarn over, pull it through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Now we're going to do 6 of those. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So it's important with this particular pattern that you start with a peak. So we're going up to the peak. Now to do the peak, I'll just check the 6 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going into the same next chain. Yarn over, go in and do a double crochet. Chain 2, and another double crochet in the same chain or stitch or space, depending on where you're up to. Okay, you can see it's already starting to turn. That's what we call the peak. Now we're going to go down to the valley. Next chain, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And yes, that indeed is my little dog Max, little schnauzer, who comes in and out all the time. So there's the beginning of it. We've got 6, we've got the peak. Don't confuse that double crochet with one of your 6, because that's a separate one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we're going to do the valley, which is very simple. You just skip over 2 chain and you go into the 3rd and just start your rise up again of 6 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So you can see it's starting to take shape. Foundation row is very important to get it right. Even like me, you have to pull things out and start again, but it's really important to get your foundation correct, as it is with houses, etc. You've got to get everything set up right so that it builds up for the rest of your project. So there's our valley. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we do our peak again. We go into the next chain and we do a double crochet, 2 chain, and another double crochet. Now the first row is a little different to the rest, but you'll know if you've set it up properly, because you should have exactly 6 stitches left for the down slope going towards the valley. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. If your slip knot is a little bit loose, tighten it up, because you don't want to think you've got to go into that slip knot. Okay, so there's the setup of your foundation row. And you can see it's already starting to have that nice wavy effect. If you are a tight crocheter, you don't want to start with tight chains, so I suggest you go up a hook or two so that it doesn't draw around, and then get swapped back to your normal hook. Very important. If it's pulling, you need to start again and use a bigger hook and get a little bit looser with your chains. You'll know straight away. Okay, next step, going up, moving on to row 2. We're going to do 2 chain, then we're going to turn around. Now, you're going to see now that we've got 7, because I'm including the peak. There, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, to keep your sides straight, the trick is to skip your first stitch. So we're going to skip this one and we're going to go straight into the second stitch. And you'll be doing that every row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And now we're back to the peak. So we go into the space now. Double crochet, chain 2, and another double crochet in the space to create the peak. And then we're going back down to the valley. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So you can see that the multiple of 28 includes that extra stitch up here and down here as part of your cycle. You could experiment if you get really excited about it to make bigger peaks, so you just have more stitches going up and work out your multiple that way. But for those of you who are new at this, I'm just going to show you exactly how to create a simple chevron. So we've gone 6 up, we've skipped the first stitch, we've got to the peak, we've done a double crochet, chain 2, double crochet, gone down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we skip over 2 chain, which are sort of, one's above the space and one's sort of next to it there. And we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And we're back to the last peak of our sample. Double crochet into the space, chain 2, and double crochet back into the space again. And then now, as we did at the beginning, we've got 7 stitches because we're including that double crochet from the peak. So what we do at the very last part of our cycle, we do 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now you're left with 2 double crochets at the end, and we're going to do a double crochet 2 together. Now for that, we don't do the yarn over, we go straight into the first stitch, yarn over, pull it through, go straight into the second stitch, yarn over, pull it through. Oops, hang on, I've got to get right in there. Pull it through, yarn over, and then you've got your 4 stitches as you normally would for a double crochet. Pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Now, you're going to do 2 chain to turn around to your next row, and just like we did in the beginning, that second row is what we keep repeating for the rest of the pattern. So we skip over the first one, which is really easy to see there, and we go into the second. We do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And we continue doing the peak and the valley and the peak. I will do this quietly. You can just watch along, maybe work with me. And then I'll show you how to change colours at the end. Okay, so I've come up to the end of the row, and I'm going to show you how to change colours. Just get a little bit of wool over here. I have double crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yes, I've got a little knot there, that's okay. Just work over that. Now, we're up to the last 2. So this is where we double crochet 2 together. So we go in, yarn over, in, yarn over. Now, this is one way you can change. I'm going to show you 2 ways. You just go through the 2, and then, so you start, make sure that you've got your running yarn on the left. Just hook it over there, keep your finger to hold it in place and bring it through. And you do your 2 chain and you turn. So that's one way you can do it. You can see it's almost invisible. The other way, for those of you who don't like going halfway through a stitch, we're doing the double crochet 2 together as we did before. You complete it like that, and then what you do is you get your hook and you go through 1 and 2 there. Get your running yarn around there, pull it through to finish your stitch. To change the colour. 1, 2 chain, and then you can pull that through and it won't go anywhere. And then we turn, we skip the stitch and continue on. Now I'll show you how to hide your ends. The wrong side facing, because I'm moving up to the 4th row. I'm doing that to show you. You can change it wherever you want. If you're looking at the front of your work, then you're going to do it at the back. If you're looking at the back, you're going to do it at the front here. So we've done our 2 chain. We're going to skip this first stitch, and we're going to move our tails up in between our hook and our work. And we're going to go into that 2nd stitch, do our double crochet, and we're working over the top of those tails. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And I'm going to stop there because I don't want my tails to poke through the chevron little peak hole there. And just pull that so it just nice and easily, so it just sits there. And then you move your tails across and finish your 6 double crochet and continue on. And then you can just snip off those tails and they're gone. And that would have been the same result as if you darn them through, but it saves you doing it all at the end. And you can see now, sometimes it takes a few rows to take effect, but this will be straight and this will be straight. And we just keep going. And you keep going up and down and change whenever you like, but make sure you do it at the end of the row so that you've got a nice clean chain. And that's the front of my work, so you can't really see where I've threaded through the work because it's at the back. So that's the chevron. I really would love you to have a go at doing that. And again, just be wary that if your chains are tight down the bottom, you go up a hook size, and if they're loose, you would go down, although loose is better than tight for our foundation row. That's about all you need to remember. The other thing is to always have a peak at the beginning and a peak at the end for this particular pattern. So you've got a nice even 28 stitches, and then you add your 2. So you just, to work out a bigger amount, you just do multiples of 28, which I'll put a few suggestions in the pattern. Okay, so that's it for today. That's the chevron pattern. Good luck with it. Please like my video and subscribe, and please leave me a comment. I'd love to know if I'm doing okay or if I need to do something to make it better to understand. I'd really love to see some comments. So thank you very much and keep on crocheting.